Does our personal vibration educate people better than words?
Absolutely, I think. I think that when someone is living in alignment and in integrity, and they are sharing their gifts and their purpose, there is an essence and an aura about them that changes other people. I believe that their presence alone can promote harmony. It can inspire, and we all do that in different ways. We could get into, from a human design lens, the different ways that people might inspire people based on their energy. But I definitely think that embodiment is going to be one of the key themes for successful leadership in the future. Embodiment, being what you are teaching, feeling the wisdom or the truth of whatever it is that you're talking about.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. It's where we blend spirituality and practicality to help you live a life of purpose and joy. Have you ever felt like you're living somebody else's version of your life and wondered what it would feel like to live your truth? My guests today, Shayna and Dana from the DayLuna Podcast, are passionate about helping people do exactly that. They teach human design in a way that's fun, grounded, and deeply transformative. Join me as we talk about how to understand your unique energy flow, follow your intuition, and create a life that feels effortless and authentic. Because when you live in alignment with your design, everything starts to click. Please remember to subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with your family and friends. Now, let's go chat with Shayna and Dana. Shayna and Dana, welcome to the show. I'm so thrilled you guys could join us today.
Thank you so much for having us. We're so excited to be here. It feels like a reunion since we had you on our show, and it just feels so good to see you.
I know we had so much fun, and it's already started before we started recording. We were all cracking each other up. So I got a bunch of questions for you girlies. Let's just get going. Most of us spend our entire lives trying to be somebody else. Why?
Yeah, great question, and one that we've asked ourselves so many times. From a human design perspective, we're all about helping people understand how you are unique and different. And the truth is, every single person on planet Earth is absolutely unique. There are no two people who have the same set of gifts, no two people who have the same energy. So, why do we spend our life abandoning our true self and our authenticity and trying to blend in or be like other people? And, a lot of that comes from the social pressure to homogenize, to be the same. There's this part of us that knows that we're meant to operate in collaboration with one another, that we need one another. And so our societal stories have told us that in order to collaborate and belong and have a safe space in society, you must homogenize, become one. And we've built so many of our structures, our work structures, our school structures, our medical structures. We've built it around these one size fits all boxes. And it's like, if you want to do well in school and not get in trouble, you better conform to the box, right? Instead of school opening up those parameters and allowing people to learn in different and unique ways, we end up having to homogenize and dim our light in order to fit into the structures. So our whole goal in human design is to help people understand that, you know, blending yourself to fit in with other people, bending yourself and dimming your light, it's really created a world where there's a lot of friction, actually. It doesn't actually create harmony and collective cooperation the way we've been told it does. Instead, it creates repression and dis-ease, as you know, and a lot of stuff comes up for us in a negative way. We're not able to be a good partner or a good daughter or a good lover if we're not getting to express our full and true self. So that story that we've been really told, that we need to homogenize and conform to collaborate and have connection, is really a lie. And I think a lot of us are awakening to that on a mass level right now.
Yeah, and I just want to add on to that there's this other side where, when you're trying to figure out who you are and you don't have any clear direction, right? Like when you're seeking answers, a lot of times we look outside of ourselves for those answers, right? We look to, well, what do our parents think of us? Or what has worked for our parents? What's worked for our boss? What's worked for that influencer or that celebrity or my best friend who's doing really well, right? And we can look to people that we admire and then try to imitate what they're doing to see if that's going to give us success or us happiness or belonging or safety or whatever it is that we're seeking, right? And so in that process, there's so much that happens where we're actually judging ourselves, we're comparing ourselves. It oftentimes is coming from a place of your mind trying to force yourself to, okay, let me take on their morning routine and put it on for myself. Let me take on the diet that works for them. Let me take on the way that we work or climb the corporate ladder or whatever it is. And we end up getting so far away from who we actually are because we're kind of fumbling around in the dark. And the first thing that we find, we try to hold on to have some sense of stability or sense of where you are or who you are. So that's what the most amazing thing for me has been with human design is that it gives you languaging to things that you've always felt, but that you didn't know were consistent for you or were you, right? It's like, oh, I've always felt that, but I thought maybe that was wrong because that's not how my partner operates or my boss or my parents or whatever. And so having the languaging to say, oh, this is who I am, this is how I operate, it creates so much liberation because you're no longer trying to I like to say, put on somebody else's clothes and pretend that it's like a perfect fit, like it's a costume. So if you can, when you learn about your design, honestly, it's like we like to say human design is an experiment. You test it out, you experiment with it, and you start to see, like, wow, I have never felt more like myself ever. And then it just becomes a never ending experiment. We say we're still doing it years and years later, and it's life changing.
This is reminding me of way earlier in my career, probably 30 years ago. And I'm a serial entrepreneur and an inventor. I have a friend who is a entrepreneur professor emeritus from University of Southern California. And I think she's written 15 textbooks. So her stuff
Wow.
is all over the world in entrepreneur classes. And she said to me one time, you need to get your MBA. And I said, I have MBAs that work for me. I'm not interested in getting my MBA because I don't want it messing up my brain. She said, "Well, what's that mean?" And I said, "I don't wanna think inside a box. I'm like a wildcatter. I wanna follow where my intuition is leading me," and that was even way before I learned about woo-woo. And I said, if I go to MBA school, I'm gonna be taught you gotta do it this way. You gotta, finance it this way. You gotta get these people and all of that." I said, I don't want it messing up my brain." She said, "Nobody has ever said that to me before." I said, "Well, okay." And I think that's exactly what you're talking about. And
Yeah.
so to this day, I have had many MBAs that have worked for me in my different companies. And they're brilliant and they do wonderful things, but I'm the idea girl, and I don't wanna have my brain boxed in by a certain way that I have to do something. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's that same idea of like, oh, you should do this thing because it makes sense or because this is what people expect of you or what you should do. And if it's not something that you authentically like it's coming from you, for you specifically, like if it's going to make you happy and you have this energy towards it, then it's just going to be a waste of time and it's just it's another box to try to fit yourself into. So I love that. I mean, you being a manifesting generator, I love that you're an inventor. I love that you have so many different businesses and facets of your career and the way that you help people. It's so right on with your energy, and it just goes to show, me and Dana, we're projectors, so we have completely different energy than you do, but we can still be entrepreneurs. We can still have multiple facets to the things that we're doing. It's just the way in which you're gonna go about it is gonna be so different than the way Dana and I are gonna go about things. So that's what's really cool. Human design isn't gonna tell you that what you want. right? It's not going to tell you that you should want to be an entrepreneur, you should want to get an MBA or whatever. It's going to tell you, okay, you want to get an MBA or you want to start a business or whatever it is. Here's how you go about doing it in a way that's going to have the least amount of friction energetically. We're looking at your energetic body, your aura, and seeing how the mechanics work. And if you want to get from point A to point B, here's how you get there. And here's the GPS versus like, here's how you drive blindly in the dark and you bump into everything. And then you try to, you try to charge up your diesel car, and that's just not how it works. So that's what's really, really cool. And I love all the things that you're doing, but you're just so your design. And a lot of people get there, right? Like they get there through trial and error. They get there through maybe already having a really good sense of self and ability to listen to their truth naturally, or something that they've had to grow over time based off of their circumstances. Some people get there all on their own. They're using all of their gifts, which is so beautiful to see. But for other people, it can feel a lot harder to access that truth, and having that languaging, like I was saying, this roadmap, the GPS is just a game changer.
Well, it's just that I've been doing it for a long time because I'm in my mid-60s now, so I know what works and I know
It's
what doesn't work.
practiced.
So it is absolutely practice. Yeah, absolutely. And I know you did my human design map, which I am eager to hear what you've come up with. And first, tell everybody what human design is. Just what's your basic definition for human design?
Yeah, so human design is a system that is a synthesis of a lot of different ancient systems, including Western astrology, elements of the Chinese I Ching, elements of the Kabbalah tree of life, and elements of the chakra system. So it's taking these different ancient sciences and showing you how they come together to give you a really detailed blueprint of your unique energy and energetic qualities. So, in order to find your human design, you're going to generate your chart based on your birthday information, just like astrology. And, you can do that in a lot of different places online. You can do it on our website for free at daylunalife.com. And so you'll put in your birthday information and time, and you'll generate your chart, and you'll get this body graph that has all of these shapes and numbers and colors. And it's really complicated. So at first it can be like, what does this mean? But essentially, this is a map, a roadmap for how your unique energetic body works, what your unique qualities are, the challenges that you're here to overcome, your life purpose. Human design even gets into your ideal environment that you're meant to live in, the ideal form of digestion that you're meant to have, the way that you're meant to view the world and contribute to the world with your mind. So it's very, very multifaceted. And that's something that we love about human design. When we're talking about a blueprint, this thing is detailed. It is as complex as you are as an individual. Going back to this idea, we don't want to box people in. We don't want to label people. So what we love about this system is it's a blueprint that's really accurate, that's really complex, just like you are. And, when you're looking at your chart, the written categories, the first thing that we always like to tell people about in human design are the types. So there's 5 different types. If you pull up your chart, you'll see in those written categories type, and next to that, you'll either be a manifester, a generator, a manifesting generator, a projector, or a reflector. So every human on planet Earth falls into one of those 5 categories, which is obviously a very broad category. There are things in your design that are way more niche and way more specific, but this first thing, your type, tells you so much about how your your energy is meant to move through the world. It tells you about the way that your energy is exchanging energy with others. So for us as projectors, Shayna and I, we have this aura that is designed to penetrate into the other. Our energy literally goes into the other person to ask, how is this person thinking? How are they experiencing life? So projectors are oftentimes guides or psychologists or people who are seeing into something to offer insight, advice, guidance. And they don't have on our own consistent amount of energy. Even if we're in love with what we're doing, we have a limited amount of energy. Ultimately, that's here to help serve projectors in order to really be able to see and support and guide others towards their best life. But for projectors, it's all about learning. My aura and my energy is designed to guide the other. I'm designed to work efficiently and to do less and to really help give advice to other people and to help them thrive and succeed. Now, you as a manifesting generator type, Julie, you have a really powerful aura that is designed to be impactful, inspiring. You also have an openness to your aura where you feel really warm and almost contagious. Like when you are in love with life, other people feel in love with life. When you are energized and lit up by what you're doing, other people feel that way too. So there's this openness that your energy spills out and impacts, affects, and inspires other people. And as a manifesting generator, you're very capable and you can be very energetic as long as you are working on something you truly love. And there's a caveat there because not only do you need to find something you love, you also can get bored easily. You're someone who needs a challenge. You're someone who moves quickly. So even if you find something you love, but it starts to feel monotonous, or you start to feel like you've been doing, pigeonholing yourself in the way that you're working, you can also drain that powerful, inspiring, juicy life force energy that you have. So it's important that you're pivoting, that you allow yourself to have freedom to expand and start new things. It's important that you have a team that's helping take things off your plate that you're not into. And ultimately, your whole energy is really about you doing the things that you love so that you can be this inspiring, contagious person who uplifts other people with your energy. So, of the 5 different types, your type tells you so much about just, when you walk into a room, your being, your essence impacts other people. We all have this energetic role, and your type really gives you clues onto how you are designed to impact other people and what that energetic role is for you.
That's amazing. How'd you guys get involved in this? And then also, how did you get together to do this collaboration that you do with DayLuna?
Yeah, so Dana and I have been friends since college, and we've gone through a lot of different life transitions together. And so in college, we always felt like kindred spirits, I guess, and very similar. And we kind of operated and moved through the world in a similar way. And we did what we were told, right? Like we went to school, got our degree, graduated, got jobs, made good money, m- climbing the corporate ladder, all those things. And it was right before our Saturn returns. And we were just feeling like, okay, now what? Like, this cannot be all that there is. Like, we are exhausted. We dread going in every day. Like, I did everything that I was told to do, and I hate my life. Like, I am so burnt out and drained. And so we kind of had like this quarter life crisis moment where we were like, okay, well, why doesn't this work for me? Who am I? What am I doing? Where am I going? And it led us down, so many different rabbit holes, but we started, doing breath work and studying astrology and Ayurveda and going on retreats and just learning any system that we could. And we stumbled across human design. And this is where we found out that we were both 2-4 projectors, and why we moved through the world in a similar way, and why we were feeling so, I want to say, in pain with what we were doing day to day. Like it literally felt painful to show up every day and to work ourselves in the way that we had always been told that we had to. And so w- after learning that, it was kind of this like, why has no one told me this information? Like, this is the information, the only information that I need, really. And so we committed to 1 month that we are going to use our strategy and authority. Those are the two main focuses of human design. The strategy is what Dana was just talking about for each of the different types. And then your authority is your decision making center. So human design really teaches that your mind is here to observe and process and teach and create and discern, but it's not here to make your own personal big life decisions. That comes from a place of wisdom within your body, a place of intuition, right? And so human design teaches that there's 8 different authorities, 8 different places where we can have intuition coming from our body. And most people, well, I want to say like 75% of the planet have this gut response where they have gut feelings. Now, they might also have emotional authority like you do, Julie, where you do have a gut response, a gut feeling on something, but then you also have this emotional authority that you need time to make a big decision. Like, let me have a day, let me have, a few days to really just sit with it. And the question that you're meant to be asking yourself, it's the same as Dana having emotional authority is, will this make me happy? Like when I picture myself doing it from a neutral place, do I feel happy doing it? Right. So about 50% of the population has emotional authority. And then 75% of people have that gut feeling. And then there's other authorities like splenic, where you have this subtle intuition, and like mine, where I have to talk things out to really hear my thoughts linearly and here is this on my path, like that sense of like it feels like a parallel path, or it feels like this is my life, this is where I'm going. And so I had to talk, bounce things off of people to hear my truth, right? So there's 8 different ones. I won't get into all of them, but we committed to, okay, for 1 month, we are going to work less because we're projectors. You projectors are only meant to work 2 to 4 hours a day of hard energy output. And I know. And when everyone hears that, everyone else that's not a projector is like, damn, must be nice. But everybody who is a projector is like, that's everything I ever want, but that's impossible. Like, how? How do I actually do that? That's not a possible reality. And the trick is discerning between what is draining your energy and what isn't, right? In your current job, what are the tasks that feel like that expended energy, even if you love doing it? And what are the things that feel like I could do that all day? I could talk to, do a meeting, talking to my coworkers, bouncing ideas off of each other all day long. I could answer emails all day long. Or maybe that's something that drains you, right? Discerning what those things are. So we did that for a month and we set a timer, 2 to 3 hours a day of the draining things. And literally once the timer went off, we stopped. We didn't do any of the draining stuff and nobody noticed. In fact, all of the people around us were inviting us to do more things that we loved. They were recognizing us more. They were, we were getting like promoted and raises and all of these random things that we were like, oh shit, I'm working way less, but I'm being recognized way more. Right. So we did that. And then every big decision that came across our way in that month, we used our authority for. And we were ruthless. And honestly, in that month, it sounds too good to be true, but everything in our life changed. We had so many invitations of, we had clients, we had people placing orders for products that we didn't even have yet. We had just so many different opportunities coming into our life from using the system. So we decided, okay, let's just keep going with it. And it snowballed into, DayLuna and everything that we offer now. But it really has been a uh, giant trust fall and huge experiment of using human design every single day and seeing what comes from that. But it's really crazy. Yeah, Dana and I have gone through, in that same time frame, we both lost our dads. We navigated, getting married and, just all of these big life things. And human design has been such a grounding force because when things feel chaotic as they do, especially now in our, collective climate, having that inner stability of, I know who I am, I know how to trust myself, I know how to listen to myself, it provides this sense of safety, even when everything else around you might be changing or unknowable or unpredictable. And so it's it's needed now more than ever.
Fascinating. Is human design a curriculum or a methodology that somebody invented? Did you guys download it? Where's it come from?
Yeah, oh my gosh, great question. Okay, so Dana, do you wanna get into the origins here? I saw you about to
Yeah. So human design is downloaded, they call it, by a man named
Yes.
Ra Aruhu in the late 80s. So this man was in this long,
1980s or 1880s or
yeah,
like
1987. So more
okay.
recently. And he was in this 8-day meditation. He lived in Ibiza. He was a Canadian man, but he was living in Ibiza in Spain. And in this long meditation, he had this encounter with this higher consciousness or this higher entity that kind of started showing him these different ancient systems like astrology, aspects of the I Ching, the way that they came together. And he spent days after that just sitting down at a journal, mapping out these different systems and how they layer on top of each other. And after that experience, he spent the rest of his life working with other scientists. There's aspects of human design that really reflect quantum physics, that reflect our codons and our genetics. So there's like a biochemistry correlation. A lot of these qualities in our human design chart can be correlated or connected to the amino acids in our codon and our DNA. So it's a very, very complex system, but it started with him getting this download, this visualization of these ancient systems coming together. And then throughout the years, he ended up developing human design, teaching it throughout the world. So while it is a newer system, less than 40 years old, it is a synthesis of very ancient systems that have been around for thousands of years that people have found so much truth in and support in. And so the cool thing with human design is we call it a system, but it's not a belief system. It's not something that you have to subscribe to or believe in. We say that human design is an experiment. So what we really like about it is it has these tangible practices, your strategy and authority that you can try on for size. And like Shayna and I did, we experimented for a certain amount of time, and you get to just feel, does this feel right? Does my life start to feel easier? Are things moving more quickly? And so in that, while it is a system, it's really something that you can experiment with and see for yourself if it helps you find clarity in the way that you're navigating life. Because, so many of us really struggle with having clarity, confidence, groundedness. Some of us don't. Like, I love your story, Julie, of you just being like, nope, I know who I am, I'm not hiring an MBA, like all of, yeah. And, but human design is a system that can really help us find that truth about ourselves, but it's deriving from all of these ancient systems coming together in that synthesis.
It's interesting how this has all been channeled and downloaded in a new goulash, if you will, of mixing several of these methodologies together to get us guidance that's helpful during this day and age. It's kind of like a
Yes.
new guidance system that's taking the best of all of the ancient ones and coming up with a new perspective of how we can be guided in this time in our evolutionary process. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we really believe that, a lot of human design is reflecting on human consciousness evolving and our physical bodies evolving. And, we talk about these different eras that humanity is going through. And from a human design perspective, one of the things that was channeled by Ra Aruhu, the man who channeled human design, was that 2027, coming up just here so soon here, is a pivotal moment in not only our evolution as human beings, as spiritual beings in a human body, but also for our physical body, for the way that the world is going to change, for the way society is going to change. So we're at this very pivotal paradigm shifting moment where an old world, the way that we saw the world, the way that we created structures is really changing, and a new world is wanting to be born. And so we believe that there's been a lot of systems, whether they're new systems or ancient systems that are, made for the modern world or communicated for the modern world, people are really ready for these systems that help us understand energetics, help us understand our power as human beings, our connection to spirit. It's the time. On planet Earth right now, we are ready for a mass awakening. We are ready for shifts and changes. And so I feel like human design has come into the world in this time. And, Shayna and I, for example, we've been so drawn to teaching this system, a system that we did not create, but we feel so connected to it on soul level. Like we literally feel like our souls came in to help promote this specific message and the wisdom codes that are within human design at this time for this reason. And so within that, our evolution, even, you could think of that as numbers. You could think of that as the cycles and the years past. And I definitely think right now is a time where a lot of these ancient sciences are coming back because people are ready to receive them. They have the consciousness and awareness to actually learn about them and be able to utilize them to help make a better world.
Well, it seems to be all streaming into spirituality from some perspective. At my training last weekend, we had one of our students on stage and we were doing a past life scan. I don't do regressions, we do scans. And that's what I was teaching. Well, she had been Merlin the magician in another lifetime.
Wow.
And so
Love that.
we went down that path for a while, and then one of my graduates who was there raised her hand and she said, "I opened a new tarot card deck just for kicks this morning, and I shuffled the deck and the card I pulled out was Merlin the magician."
Wow.
So we thought that was pretty cool, no coincidences
That's
in life.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
I find, and I'd love your take on this, that it's way more part of the zeitgeist. People are interested in not just the dogma and their religion and what somebody else is telling them to do, but more along the lines of, from a spiritual perspective, what can I glean from these different ancient and perhaps new methodologies that can help me connect with source, help me connect with guidance from spirit, from loved ones in heaven, from my spirit guides, from my guardian angel. Are you guys finding that to be the same?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that it's all of those different avenues of accessing truth and guidance are it is that process of going inward, right? Like going inward spiritually or learning something that is very personal, right? It's not like some outside authority like a doctor or a politician or a teacher or a
Or a
lawyer or
guru,
whoever or a
a
guru
spiritual
telling you
teacher.
this is what is true for you or this is what you have to do, right? It's instead, how am I empowered to access my own truth, to talk to my own guides, to, access my own, like all of the intuition and wisdom that is within my body, within my soul. So that's the core foundation of human design is empowering you to be your own authority. Like giving you the languaging so that way your mind can let go of like the judgment or seeking answers outside of yourself and instead like let go and come back to listening, tuning in and trusting it. Like knowing that that is sacred. Like nobody knows what's best for you besides yourself. Nobody has the answers outside of you. And the systems or the modalities or the teachers that are helping you to tune in and listen to that internal side, that's I think the most powerful thing because it just puts the keys right back in your hands versus giving your power away to something outside of you.
And I'm very adamant about when I'm teaching this woo-woo stuff, we're gonna find out what's the best, easiest, most efficient way for you to do this based on what your individual talents are. There's not a set formula. Let's figure out how it works best for you because back to your earlier points, we're all unique and we all learn differently and we all receive guidance differently and get divine downloads and other ways that we're led and it's all individual. So back to Dana, what you were talking about, with society wanted us to be homogenized. I love that definition. That's such a great definition. Let's do a deep dive into the work that you're doing. What are the most common signs somebody's out of alignment with their human design plan?
Yeah, so it would definitely be their not self theme. So all of the types have a different self theme when they're in alignment and a not self theme when they're out of alignment. So it's kind of like your little check engine light that comes on and says like, "Hold on, can you take accountability? Can you like back up a little bit and just make sure that you're operating with authenticity and with your truth. So for manifestors, that's anger, feeling angry. That can come out in big ways, that can come out in small, little resentful ways. Um, for generators and manifesting generators, that's frustration, like feeling like, ugh, I'm just frustrated with this thing and it's not working right. And a lot of times, if you're a generator, it's because you need to just stop doing what you're doing right now. Like, now is not the time. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, can you listen to your body, check in with what you actually want to be doing right now? Maybe that's going for a walk or calling a friend or going laying down or closing all the tabs on your computer. Like, really check in with your body. Do you have energy for this or not? For a manifesting generator, you might have both that anger and that frustration seep through in certain places. And then for projectors, it's bitterness, feeling just bitter, like must be nice. Well, I was right and they never even noticed. That bitterness comes through a lot. And then for reflectors, it's disappointment, feeling just disappointed with the world, with your family, with your friends, with your job. Life has let you down again. And when we talk about the self themes for reflectors, it's surprise. It's feeling like life is a wonder and this childlike surprise and delight. Like life is just showing up for you, right? That's when you know you're in alignment. For projectors, it's success, feeling like I'm being rewarded for my efforts, for my insight. I just feel successful. I feel like I'm doing life, I'm doing it well. For generators, it's satisfaction, and manifesting generators, satisfaction, like, "Oh, I did this thing and it just felt so good." Like, that was a satisfying, delicious meal. That conversation just really scratched that itch, right? Like, that is how you know you are in alignment. And then for manifestors, it's really peace, just feeling like peaceful and you got to do what you wanted and nobody gave an F about it. And you just feel like, okay, I'm doing my thing. I feel like peaceful, right? That's how you know you're in alignment. So that's for each of the different types, the main two things you're looking out for.
Beautifully said. Most of us are taught to trust logic over intuition. How do we unlearn that and reconnect with our own intuition?
Yeah, it is a process to unlearn that because most of us don't realize how deeply that conditioning runs to think of everything logically and to weigh the pros and cons about big things like your romantic partner. Raise your hand if you've known someone in your life that has been dating someone and everything in their body and their intuition and their gut or whatever it is telling them that something's off. But in their mind, they're rationalizing, well, they have an amazing job and they live in my town and they're the right age. And so you have all of these buts, you have all of these pros and cons lists. You're trying to convince yourself of something. And, you can really talk about what those pros and cons are. A lot of times when you are truly following your body's wisdom about something, we call that your inner authority. It's almost wordless. It's almost ineffable. Like you can't really explain it very well to other people. It might not make any sense to other people, but it's a knowing in your body. And so the way that you begin to unlearn our mind controlling our life is actually by learning which authority you have in human design. So once again, you'll pull up your chart, you look at those written categories, and next to authority, you'll see that you have emotional authority, sacral authority, splenic authority, etc. And we recommend researching what your authority is. A great resource for that, we have a book called Your Human Design, and it breaks down all of the different authorities and strategies and types, and it tells you exactly how to feel the energetics of your decision-making process, what it feels like for you, the right questions to ask yourself, different time frames that you might want to keep in mind for finding your truth, because everyone has a different time frame for how they access their clarity. But by practicing making important life decisions with this inner authority, you'll really start to feel what truth feels like for you. And, all of those mental explanations and mental gymnastics start to kind of melt away when you can make really aligned decisions and you get to see how they play out. you get to feel how much better that is. And so through experimenting with it is actually the best way. And also, to just be really aware when you are living in a place of expectation. You're thinking about what other people think of you or expect of you. If you ever catch yourself saying, I'm doing this because I feel bad or I feel like I should, those are instantly red flags. You're coming from your logical mind. If you hear a friend say, I feel bad, it's like red flag. You need to think about what your inner intuition is guiding you towards, right? And that won't make you feel bad. It'll make you feel good. It'll make you feel connected to truth.
Does our personal vibration educate people better than words?
Ooh, I love this question. Absolutely, I think. I think that when someone is living in alignment and in integrity and they are sharing their gifts and their purpose, there is an essence and an aura about them that changes other people. I believe that their presence alone can promote harmony. It can inspire, and we all do that in different ways. We could get into from a human design lens the different ways that people might inspire people based on their energy. But I definitely think that embodiment is going to be one of the key themes for successful leadership in the future. Embodiment, being what you are teaching, feeling the wisdom or the truth of whatever it is that you're talking about. And hollow words or do as I say, not as I do, I really feel is going to crash and burn in the future. And we're seeing that right now. We're seeing a lot of leaders. It's like, do as I say, not as I do. And they're saying one thing, they're operating in a different way. And that lack of integrity is really going to be something that more and more people are becoming aware of and cannot tolerate. And the people who live in true integrity and embodiment, you might have to promote yourself less. You might have to market yourself less because people will just feel your essence and your wisdom and they'll feel impacted by your energy.
You say human design isn't about becoming better, it's about becoming real. What does true authenticity look like?
I love that question. So oh my gosh, it's so complicated because everyone is so different, right? And so when it's about becoming real versus better, right? It's like better to whose standards, right? Like what is better, right? What better is going to look different for every single person. So being able to access your truth and understand what it's saying and then following it, taking action towards what it's saying, that's what authenticity really looks like, right? Not trying to fit into someone else's box like we've been talking about. So that real side, I think, is the courage. It requires that courage underneath it to take that action towards listening to what your body is really telling you. And I think that a lot of people miss that step, the action part, right? Like, oh yeah, I heard this little nudge or, this truth yelling me for years to quit my job, but here's all the million reasons why I can't and I haven't. And when you can actually take that big scary step and listen, that's where you get into that place of living your life from a place of real authenticity. And the things that come up, the challenges that you face, the things that you navigate, if you can still show up with that same commitment to that authentic truth, you're going to be okay. You're going to get somewhere that is more real, more authentic, more in alignment, more alive than where you have been and is safe or that have should have been this whole time.
And I just wanted to add on to that, being real is not always pretty. It's not always happy. It's not always joyful. It's not always going with the flow. Your real energy in this moment, you might be upset about something or honestly pissed off about something or just in a funky mood. And think about if you're a parent, for example, and you're in a funky mood and you show up in front of your child and you say, you know what? I'm in a funky mood today. I'm owning it. I'm claiming it. that is actually going to be more harmonious for your child to get the real version of you than if you were faking it and you showed up like mommy's happy today, but inside you're not. Your child is going to sense that you're being inauthentic. And maybe your behavior is better because you're faking a smile. I put that in quotes. Your behavior is better because you're faking a smile, you're saying nice things, but that's not what nourishes your relationship with your child. Faking it, being polite, sacrificing yourself, lying to yourself, being dishonest with yourself, all of those things create friction in our relationships and in our life. And I feel like we're really taught that those things need to be valued and prioritized. Like, show up as the best version of yourself all the time. But what we're saying is the healthiest relationships that have the most harmony are going to be ones where you feel safe enough to show up as the real version of who you are that day. And it doesn't make you bad. It doesn't, label you forever as something or something else. Like the fact that we can just show up as our real self, that is honestly what creates a life filled with fulfillment and honest connections and better sustainability in the end when we get to be authentic.
At DayLuna, you guys combine ancient wisdom, as we talked about, sacred geometry, and modern entrepreneurship, one of my favorite topics. How do you help somebody integrate business success and spiritual alignment without sacrificing one for the other?
Mm. I mean, it really comes back to using your authority and tuning into your truth, right? So, like within business specifically, um, checking in with like, am I doing this because I should, right? Like I should have an Instagram or I should run ads or I should, do this marketing thing or whatever. And or am I doing it because I truly want to? Like I have energy towards it. It's right for me. It's a hell yes for me or whatever your authority is. And there's so many voices when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to like business coaches or, uh, you know, whatever. So many people telling you how you have to grow a multi-million-dollar business, for example. And that is just another example of trying to put on somebody else's clothes and it being a costume, right? Like that worked for Tony Robbins, like that worked for this person, right? And that's amazing. But is it going to work perfectly for you? Because you don't have their energy. You don't have their gifts. You don't have their purpose. And so
You don't
being
have their
able
birth date
to
and time of birth.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like you
exactly.
are
You've
not
got
showing
different
up to the
codes.
thing with
Well,
the same tools.
and this pertains for people who are employees, intrapreneurship, somebody working at a company and they are wanting to advance in their career in working for somebody else as an employee. I mean, none of this would run. Not everybody can be an entrepreneur, but would you say that these principles pertain to anybody in any job?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, any job. It really is tuning into like, okay, is this right for me? And the only way you can do that is if you know how to listen to yourself internally. But I do want to say that we are shifting into a place where, of freelance, of people working, the skill sets that they bring even within a company are marketable to many different companies. And so I do think that we are shifting to a place where people are having the authority and the courage and also the empowerment to uh be their own boss, even within a a larger organization, which I think is really important because having the autonomy to be able to say, no, those are the tasks that are not in alignment for me or that drain me. Let's have somebody else do them who it doesn't drain, who they do enjoy
Mhm.
doing them. There's going to be more and more flexibility as we grow and understand one another, and it creates a healthier overall ecosystem within these larger companies that have, several hundred employees, for example. Um, it'll create a healthier system where people are actually shining and sharing their gifts versus just putting their head down and working. So, yes, it does apply within intrapreneurship and entrepreneurship for sure.
What's a myth about success that keeps people stuck in frustration and burnout?
Oh, I love this. I mean, I definitely think that so many of us struggle with imposter syndrome and perfectionism. And
What
we
is
feel like,
imposter syndrome for those
yeah,
that
it's
don't
where
know?
totally. It's where you have a lot to offer and you are skillful in your field, but still some part of you feels like, am I worthy of leading in this space? Right? It comes back to self-worth and self-love. And perfectionism, I would say, have the same root. It's like, do you truly love yourself and know that your voice is worth being heard, that you have what it takes to guide? And I feel like for so many of us, we've really been taught to play small and doubt and playing
Especially women.
small,
Especially women.
especially women.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But everyone, we've been taught to play small, and self doubt kills way more dreams and businesses than trying and failing ever will. So I think that definitely people hold themselves back because they're just not sure if they're powerful enough, if they're worthy enough, if they have something important to share. And, definitely get the education that you need, definitely feel prepared and ready, but also there's kind of a point where our best business advice for anyone is just do it. Just try, just put yourself out there, because we definitely felt in the beginning, pushing past those boundaries of imposter syndrome and perfectionist and just doing it anyways and showing up authentically and with our real essence. And that is very felt from people. People want to learn from someone who is honest about pushing past the same boundaries or limitations that we all can have at certain times.
What happens when two people align with their designs within the same family or team?
Yes, anytime that someone has the same design, so let's say Shayna and I were both projectors, there is a companionship, an instant camaraderie. You feel like I get you and you get me, and we move through the world in the same way. So you could be the same type and have that. You also could be the same profile, which we haven't even gotten into this yet, but this is like a personality archetype. You can see that listed on those written categories in your chart. Shayna and I are the same profile. We are both 2 4s. Julie, you're a 5 1. So if someone in your family has the same profile as you, the same type as you, you're going to feel this instant connection. This is a place where you just get along. You can find solace in each other. Whereas if someone's different than you, there can be a little bit more friction or chemistry, and that can be exciting. You help each other grow because you have these differences. But when you have the same qualities as someone, they definitely feel like home base in some ways. However, I will say that we see a lot of siblings, like young children in the family, that when they have the same, they almost act like a mirror for each other, and they can sometimes trigger each other or like pull things out of each other because they're too similar, that they end up sort of butting heads. But in most adults, you would see it as an instant connection or an instant harmony.
Fascinating. Couple more questions as we're winding down here. I could talk to you guys all day long. What's the first alignment step you recommend to reconnect someone with their inherent flow and higher vibration?
Hmm. I would think that it would be really just sitting and tuning into your energy, like taking a moment to really feel your energy without your mind, but just your body, and um sensing how your energy feels when you are navigating your day throughout all of your normal tasks, right? So, sensing how much energy you have. Like, are you kind of burnt out? Are you drudging through the mud? Are you excited and like just you're not even thinking, you're just like grabbing that thing or hopping in your car or calling that person? Like, how much of your energy throughout your day feels like work to navigate your day versus, oh, you're not even thinking about it, you're just navigating your day. And really paying attention to the subtle differences in your energy of like a energy drop, right? Like you had maybe a thought that was discrediting yourself or was comparing yourself, and you feel that energy like slightly drop. Like, can you notice that? And then ping it back up like, no, that was genius. Or no, you know what? That was like helpful, or I am paying attention, right? Like, can you ping it back up? Also, I would say noticing how the people around you seem to be affected by your energy. Like, do you notice a difference when you walk in the room or when you are leaving the room, right? Like, how did the energy shift after you just saw your kids or, talked with your coworkers? Just starting to notice these subtle, subtle differences. You'll see how impactful your energy really is. And it'll be easier, even if you don't know anything about human design, it'll be easier to just attune to when you're in alignment or not, right? Obviously, that if you're spending most of your day drudging through the mud or feeling like a lack of energy, that something's not right. Um, there's definitely tools within human design that can help you bring that back up. But it is all there and available for you even without the languaging, because human design is just giving you language to understand something that is felt, that is energetic. So that way your mind can get on board, understand it. Okay, I got taught. Now I can let go and I can feel more. Right. So you don't need the language. You can just feel it. So I would encourage you to start there and see if you can notice those subtle differences as you move throughout your day and see what that's maybe trying to show you.
Beautiful. Last question. I'd love for both of you to answer it, please. Why do we incarnate?
Ooh. Um,
Ooh.
Immediately I'm like, okay, yes, love this question. So I really believe that we incarnate to help evolve the consciousness of the collective consciousness, right? I mean, I could go so far into this question, but I won't. I'll rein it back. Um, that, I really can see us all as this one collective consciousness. If you want to, even human design talks about the Big Bang being conception, and that we're just this fetus that is growing and expanding, and maybe we're all these little pieces of this fetus, who knows? But if you think of this consciousness that we're all contributing towards, every thought that you have, every relationship, every experience, everything that you learn, everything that you teach, we are all contributing to this collective consciousness, and whether you want to or not. And if you learned the lessons that you came here to learn in this lifetime or you didn't, you're going to maybe come back and learn them again, because there's nowhere to go but growth. And we're going to be growing no matter what. That consciousness is going to be growing. So I think that why we incarnate right now, well, in general, why we incarnate is to contribute to consciousness. And that's going to look different in every era of time, right? What that really means. Maybe that's contributing to the physical side. Maybe that's contributing to our mental side, like we've really been into. Maybe that's contributing to the infrastructure of, surviving, like we've really been doing. And maybe in the future, that looks like we are just pure consciousness and we're contributing towards things that we can't even imagine right now. But ultimately, I think everything is consciousness, and whether there's a higher power or it's a simulation or there's something else outside of us controlling things, like it doesn't really matter. I think that we all have this consciousness flowing through us, and whether you want to or not, you're contributing to it. So that's kind of like, I mean, I could go really far into all of those things, but I would say, like, if I had to sum it up really fast in a really sloppy way, that would be the way I would say it.
I love
Beautiful.
it. Yeah, and I agree with Shayna. I would reflect a lot of the things that she said. I mean, ultimately, I believe that we incarnate to be conduits of experience and ultimately evolution. We each get to be these unique avatars that consciousness gets to experience life in a different way based on who you are. So your life is like this movie or this play, and every tragedy and every joy and every relationship is helping you experience and learn and ultimately evolve. And that is something that the one consciousness wants to experience in all of these different ways. So, I mean, the big takeaway I would say, when we're talking about being a human being, I feel like your life is about exploring and experiencing, and there is no such thing as a good or a bad experience in a very labeled way. It's all just interesting experiences that help you learn, that help you grow, that help you evolve. And so, in my own life, I've really told myself, even tragic things, seeing how this experience is a gift that's helped me grow. And for me, that is the point of life. And it's helped me be less of a perfectionist and a bit more curious and a bit more playful and open to the uncertainty and surprises that life brings us.
The two of you, when I met you a few months ago, I thought, good heavens, these two are so extraordinary. You're so bright, so wise, so tuned in with not only your own journeys, but also helping others really expand and enhance their own journeys. And when I think of the two of you together, what I see are two rings that overlap, kind of in the middle. I'm trying to do this with my hands, those of you that are listening, where you'll take a circle and you'll draw an area where the circles overlap in the middle. And both of the circles inside are these really bright lights. And then where they overlap in the middle, it's just blindingly bright as far as the
Wow.
energy that the two of you create together. So kudos to
Oh,
you. I think what you're doing is really magnificent work. And I know that you're really helping people all over the planet. And then those ripples of light go out from the people that you've helped to people that they know and their families. And then it ripples from there. So I'm in awe of both of you. Congratulations.
wow. Thank you so
Wow.
much. And thank you for sharing that visualization. That's really beautiful and inspiring to hear. And I really resonate with it. So thank you. And yeah, likewise, I feel like when we met you, we just automatically feel you're such an inspiring person and you're so authentic. You're so attuned to who you are that immediately we feel this kindred spirit connection with you. So it's been such a pleasure to meet with you before, to meet with you on your show. So thank you so much for having us.
You are most welcome. How can people learn more about you and your work?
Yeah, you can go to our website, daylunalife.com. You can also find us on Instagram at dayluna or our podcast, the DayLuna Human Design Podcast. And like Dana said, we have a book called Your Human Design, which is anywhere books are sold.
Wonderful. All righty, everybody. Lots for you to digest here. In the meantime, I'm sending you lots of love from Sweet Home, Alabama. Mwah! And from Spain, where Shayna is, and from Southern California, where Dana is. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. To enhance your spiritual journey, click on one of the videos below and remember to subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with your family and friends.